What's up, freaks? Welcome to day number 30 of the Freak Mode 40 Daily Discipline Habit Challenge. We are deep into this thing. We are going hardcore into the business element, the business section of this, of the mind, the body, and the business. Today, we are talking about delegation. Your daily discipline for today is to delegate one thing. That means over the next 10 days, you are delegate one thing that you're doing. It might be a personal thing, might be a professional thing, but you are going to delegate one thing per day. Imagine by day 40, well, actually counting today, if you count today, that'll be 11 things off your plate. Now, these are probably things you shouldn't be doing right now, or things you don't enjoy doing, or things you're not good at. And we're going to break that down. Now, we do have a whole entire different OTD, Operate to Dominate course on delegation. That's part of the Cloning Yourself Freak program that we have that you could look into for a much deeper level on delegation. But we're going to give you just enough information to make this happen over the next 11 days. First of all, let's start off with only do the things that you're good at and that you like. Those are the things that you're first not going to delegate. Whatever you are proficient at and have a passion for. What are you good at and what you like. And then only delegate things after you already went through, all right, say there's a particular task you're doing. Don't delegate it if you can automate it. Also, don't delegate it if it could be eliminated. So first, why would you delegate something that could be eliminated, or delegate even something that could be automated? So go through that order of process first, where you're going to first eliminate, then automate, then delegate. Because then delegation is another individual has to do that task. So don't have them do something that can be automated, or don't have them do something that can be eliminated. Now you need to create a system for delegating. Now we can go much further into detail and a granular process, but here on the Freak Mode 40, we want to keep this very short so you could just attack these habits on a daily basis. But you need to create templates. Create templates to delegate certain responses, or someone that can respond to your DMs on social media, or someone that can respond to your emails, or whatever it is, to phone calls. Get templates for autoresponders so they know how to respond in your place. Respond as you, or respond as your assistant, or as your partner, or as your team member, or maybe just as you. It's called Cloning Yourself. Look up for that program if you want to go real deep dive. And delegation is a huge part of that program. Then you need to have a process for delegation. You need to have awareness of what to delegate. You need to document everything that needs to get delegated. You need to optimize it. You need to test it. You need to have other people test it and then share it with whoever's going to delegate it. So you need to put in some work in order to delegate stuff. You can't just go throw it on someone's plate and that's it. You need to create a standard operating procedure, a system for this of what you're going to be delegating to make sure it gets done right. And then you need to supervise it as needed, not micromanage, not hovering over your steamy ass breath over someone's shoulder. You need to have a system and a process for this. But the main thing right now, just for now, before we could go into an entire course on delegation, on creating SOPs, standard operating procedures, there's an SOP on how to create an SOP. That's all part of the Cloning Yourself program that you could again look into. But the order of priority of what to delegate, first things to look at of your tasks, things to delegate, are tasks that you don't like and you're not good at. Those two things go together on a task, first thing to go. The next thing are things that you're good at, but you don't like doing. Believe it or not, even though you're good at it, and of course there's going to be situations where something that you're good at and don't like doing, you're going to have to do for a while, especially if you are in business for yourself or an entrepreneur. It's just the way it is until you can get someone to fill that role. But that's called, in the world of entrepreneurship, that's called a living hell, because you're good at something. Or even in a corporate world, if you're good at something, really good at it, but you fucking hate doing it, it's going to suck because everyone's going to want you to do it because you're so good at it, but you hate it. You're stuck. You're trapped. You're in like a prison cell when that comes down to it. So that's something you want to delegate because you don't freaking like it. You don't like it. The next step to look at what to delegate is things that you like doing but not good at. Now, there's some potential in those things because if you like it, you might be motivated to get better at it, but it's still not the sweet spot. Your sweet spot are things you like doing and things you are good at. Your goal is to have only on your plate things that you like and that you're good at, that you even eventually have to delegate some of those things that you like and are good at because they're still not on the highest top percentage of priority on the list of your tasks. Now, that's what you need to do. Then there's a whole delegation process. You decide what to delegate, select the right person that's fit for that job, communicate that workflow that you created on that SOP that we're talking about, provide the necessary resources to that person, specify the level of delegation, level of authority that they have in their delegation. And that's, again, a whole nother concept that we would have to go over separately that there just doesn't fit enough into the time for this course, but that's all in the Clone Yourself program also. And then and then after all that's done, specify the level of delegation and authority. After that, the next step is get out of the fucking way. That's it. Give them room to operate. Get out of the damn way. But then, of course, check in and provide feedback as needed and receive feedback on where they're at, how they're doing, what do they need help with, what resources are missing, what's missing in the procedure. But then there are also levels of delegation. They need to know what is their level of freedom and their decision-making authority that they have in this process. And that's a whole nother separate training again as well. But you need to let them know how much freedom do they have. There are several levels. We have 5 levels of delegation. Where are they? What is their freedom? What type of decision-making? What type of money are we talking about that they could deal with, they can handle, they can make decisions on, they could spend, whatever it is. That needs to be clarified in this delegation process. We're not going to go that deep into the nuts and bolts of it. The point is just freaking delegate it. Even if it's imperfect, you'll deal with it as you go. Then you could get that additional course and you could really fine tune it. But for now, it's to get those things off your plate that you're not good at and you don't like doing. Day 30 of the Freak Mode 40 Habit Challenge is to delegate 1 thing per day. Now, over the long run, after this challenge, to delegate 1 thing per day, that's going to be a little excessive, but you should delegate shit. You could go 1 thing every week or 1 thing every month, 1 thing every quarter, depending on how much you narrow down the things you're doing. So the steps to go through, your action steps for today, for day 30 delegation, is decide the tasks that you should not be doing, that you don't like and you're not good at. Decide which those tasks are. Then decide the right person for that task. Because things you don't like or not good at maybe is in someone else's sweet spot that they do like and are good at. So decide on the right person for that task or the closest to the best person for that task. Then go through that delegation process. And then the bonus is to set up a plan for how you're going to delegate things on an ongoing basis all the time. I put it on my weekly calendar to mine for things to delegate, meaning I dig for things to delegate every week and I look for 1 thing a week. Sometimes it's hard to find, but it pops up. Little tiny things that I realize, why am I doing this? And you create the process for it. It takes time to create the SOP. It takes time to maybe train it over to the person, but it's worth it because then you never have to do that task again. And it's then teachable. That's how you grow and freaking scale, is through creating those SOPs by having a delegation process, having levels of authority of delegation, and basically cloning yourself. So the Freak Mode reflections for day number 30 of delegating 1 thing per day. Reflection number 1. How does it feel to have that task off your freaking shoulders, that pound of weight off your shoulders? How does that feel just overall, in general, to know that someone else is not going to do that? You can focus on bigger and better, higher, more impactful, money-making activities. Reflection number 2. What will you now do with that extra time that you have? What will you do that's going to be more productive use of your time with the time you have from not having to do that other task? How are you going to replace that with something 10 times more impactful or more needle-moving activities? And reflection number 3, do you have a system for delegating to ensure that it's effective? And if not, you need to create one. And that's kind of we gave you the broad overview in this video. Rewatch this video. Check out the separate course on cloning yourself, cloning your freak self. And this has been day number 30 of the Freak Mode 40 Habit Challenge. Delegate 1 thing per day. After 11 days, this will change your life and give you so much more freedom to work on the things that you should be working on as opposed to things you don't like and not good at. Do the reflections, do the work, take this shit seriously, and it will completely transform your mind, your body, and your business. And in case no one told you yet today, you are fucking awesome. No excuses.